first.
Which I learned a lesson. You're not supposed to hit go live and then have it also playing on another desktop because it causes a lot of feedback.
Well, yeah, that's why I have to watch it so that I can live. Cool. Okay. Yeah. Because it immediately
So what do you
live. We're live now, but you hear that volume automatically start going. So I don't get any feedback on my end, but I start to hear it through my headphones. So I have to mute it.
So do you press pause right away or you just press mute on the YouTube Live?
I just press mute.
Okay. Gotcha. I was just curious how to work that for the future.
Cool. All right. I'm going to, so we're live now. I'm going to take a quick photo and put this out on our social media. And then while I'm doing that, we'll just get ready here. Wave, say hello.
Hi. Hey, everybody.
Cool. Yeah. So thank you guys for making some time to share with our audience. And we're trying to stay as up to date as possible. That's why we're doing these things live on YouTube. But if everybody was paying attention to the news, as I know most of you are, Governor Holcomb orders non-essential businesses to close beginning tonight at midnight through April 7th, which is kind of crazy. I think anybody who's been paying attention kind of saw that coming. And we're here with Peter Brasovan and Jared Byczko, which you guys know him. He's one of the co-founders and hosts on this show. Peter has also been a past guest on the show, but they also own Naptown Fitness, and one of the industries that really has had to adapt pretty quickly to what's been going on, because it's one of these spaces where obviously people gather and this virus spreads by people gathering and being together. So if you can introduce yourselves real quick, say hello.
Hey guys, yeah, this is Peter Brasovan, one of the owners. Naptown Fitness, we opened in 2011. We have a pretty long podcast on here from back a couple months ago, but also father to two young kids who are out of school. My wife runs our yoga studio, which is also greatly affected by this and has some really awesome success stories early on of ways to pivot. So I'll definitely be talking about that as well. And then Jared and I are neighbors and have been on every phone call, Zoom call, and everything that we can imagine to communicate with over the last week. So we got lots to talk about ways to be entertained.
Yeah. Jared Byczko here, co-host of the Drink Culture podcast, as well as co-owner of Naptown Fitness and all the other entities that are a part of Naptown Fitness. Peter said we started in 2011, and it has been a whirlwind of a week. I think it's been exactly 1 week since we kind of had to take a huge pivot, which are things I'm sure we'll talk about here shortly.
And just for funsies, where are you guys calling from? Obviously, you guys are business partners and neighbors, but obviously not in the same location. Jared, you've got some interesting stuff in the background. Where are you calling in from?
Well, I'm calling in from my bunker, aka my whiskey room. And anyone who does tune in, this is I'm trying to get to my main shelf up top. That's my main shelf up there. Got some decent bottles, but anyways, this is the entire whiskey room up here, which I think Fabian, you've been in here before, right?
Yeah.
So,
I am in my office inside one of the gyms, and I could be here because nobody else is here right now. And something exciting. I don't have any whiskey in the back. Well, actually I do. I have 2 bottles of whiskey donated to us from IUPUI soccer.
Yeah, you've got that nice etch bottle. I've seen it.
I feel like I need to go get this.
Yeah. Yeah, show it off, right? Yeah. That's quality. So Jared and Peter both played soccer at IUPUI. That's why he's got that bottle. So let's just jump right into it. We got this news about a week ago, and I'm obviously, maybe it's not obvious, but I'm a member at your gym, and news came out immediately just that people were starting to pull back. Gatherings less than 50 people was the original statement that came out from the governor. And then it went down to like 10 people. So how are you guys handling the situation for your business? What has had to change, and how quickly were you guys able to make some of those decisions?
Everything has had to change. Thankfully, we've been very coherent to the situation over the last month, really. And we are a part of some really awesome mentor groups throughout the world. And that really helped us start to prepare for this ahead of time. At least we thought it did. So one of our mentor groups helps mentor gyms that are in China and Italy and all these other places that are really heavily affected by the issues right now. And so as things were changing for them, we started to see basically the exact same trend in Indiana that we've seen in Indianapolis, where it was, okay, people should be social distancing. Okay, we need to close down a certain portion of business. Okay, we need to be more aggressive of this. And unfortunately, whatever reason, it seems like everyone's following that same pattern of how to close certain things. And so we started to see that, and we started to anticipate that, and we started to put a mini game plan together. What I guess was about 10 days ago, the Friday before it all happened. But that Friday, which I think was the 14th or 13th, it was the 13th, Friday the 13th, we said, hey, on Monday, we're going to have a meeting and we'll see what we need to do from there. Little did we know that those 3 days were going to be so catalytic to getting things where they were. And then closing down on Tuesday. And I'll let Jared kind of talk about how we pivoted so quickly. But from a time standpoint, we saw it coming, but we never saw it coming as fast as it was.
Yeah, I mean, it was that Monday a week ago today, actually, that we had to essentially call a task force with our staff and bring everyone into an emergency meeting saying like, hey, we just found out like we're gonna have to close our doors, we're gonna have to shut down. So this means we're gonna have to take a huge pivot. And as Peter said, that previous Friday, we kind of felt this coming, and we've had knowledge with some of our mentorship groups and some of the affiliate owners, gym owner groups within Facebook, that this has just been a progressive situation of how this has been working. And we are kind of in that phase where it's like, well, the next step for us is for the governor to come out or the mayor to come out and say, you guys have to shut down non-essential businesses. And so within 24 hours, we were able to put together a virtual platform that we're now calling Naptown at Home. And it's been absolutely amazing to see our team step up and create essentially a brand new business within 24 hours. The good news is we did give 2 of our staff members, Anna and Johnny, enough lead time to create content and create videos inside the gym. So we had 7 days of workouts that were actually created. So we were ready to release these workouts on essentially a drip campaign over those 7 days. And then we restocked more videos this past weekend for workouts. So it was really, really cool to see that process take place in a, in a crisis, essentially, to see a new business created.
And just to give a reference, like how big is the staff at Naptown Fitness? Because what I'm trying to get to is just like, how difficult is it to get everybody on the same page to act so quickly, right? So how many people are on your staff that you had to coordinate, because you guys offer multiple different programs as well that all essentially need content to live on this like new like Naptown at Home platform that you guys are building, right?
Yeah, and this definitely is the most difficult thing to deal with in all of it is the human interaction, the human aspect. From a business, take it black and white, it's been really amazing to see us put out content and be able to provide to our members. But the reality is we do have 44 staff members, and that includes contractors and full-time employees. And that also includes, we do have a full-time yoga brand that my wife runs called Practice Indie Yoga. We have a full-time nutrition program called Naptown Nutrition. We have a longevity program. We have a kids program that was within like 10 or 12 different schools at the time of schools closing. So we had to find ways to be able to give to all of these different parts of the community within Indianapolis right away. And again, to Jared's point, thankfully, we had acknowledged what we call a leadership team within Naptown about a year ago. And if we didn't have some of those systems and processes set up, I have no idea where we'd be at today. But our leadership team knew where they were and they knew what it was needed. And the content creation and the ability to lead and be led. And that was probably one of the key things I say, lead and be led, helped us, at least in this first 10 days, have a glimmer of success coming out of it. And where we go, I don't know, but 44 people. I will have a better understanding on April 3rd, once our next payroll hits, of how much this is affecting our staff, which is the thing causing me to lose the most sleep right now. There's just no realistic way. We were offering 126 classes a week between yoga, kids, Swift, CrossFit, all the different brands and options. We are giving 126 classes a week were being offered, which is more than there is hours in a week. And a lot of people are being greatly affected like in this. And we fully understand and semi-grasp the reality of how much the food industry and the service industry is feeling this, and many different industries are. And we also had a lot of hourly employees. And so it's just such a learning curve from a people aspect.
Yeah. And in terms of like benefits right now, and I know that's one of the things that they're working feverishly on, no pun intended, to get resources out to small business owners like you guys. I mean, who on the leadership team for you all is kind of taking a look at that to make sure that you know what kind of benefits you have available so that you can continue to employ like your 44 staff members?
That's all me right now. And I think Jared even said it this morning. He was like, Jared is in charge of really ramping up and making sure that our overall brand message is unified. Anna is in charge of all of our client experience. So make sure all of our members are taken care of and they're experiencing this in a similar fashion. Johnny is in charge of the overall operations, and I am in charge of keeping the business open and operating.
Right.
So Johnny's the day-to-day operations. I'm in the financial side of it. And I don't know. I'm trying to navigate this right now, and I'm asking a lot of questions, but I don't know how fast to act on certain things. Obviously none of us ever been in this situation. I did get lucky and come across a member and a friend of ours that helped in some of the Katrina relief efforts. And I was just on a call with him before this, and he was giving me some insight. So, so other small businesses, I think if I have a glimmer of advice right now, is find people that have helped with other disaster relief, because this is a disaster relief situation. Although it's not reactionary, it's current state, which is a little different. It's
right.
Not like the hurricane just hit us, right? It's still hitting us.
Right.
Yeah. And with that, some like pure actionable items is like business owners that are listening to this, track every single hour that you're working, have your employees who are, if they're still working for you, track every single hour they're working, track all expenses that you had to buy because of this crisis. Because what we've been advised to do is, having all this together in a package will make it a lot easier when it comes time to fill out applications and say, here's our evidence of the things we like encountered, or the things we had to do or had to deal with during that time. And because the quicker you get your applications in, the more likely they are to potentially receive some sort of funds or relief at the back end of all this.
Right. And I want to ask, because I want to get into like some of the things that you guys are doing now to provide value to your clients and friends and people that have really continued to support you through all this. Jared's switching his shirt. That's so funny. You threw me off, dude.
No, you're good. I just wanted to represent. I was representing Drink Culture with Know Your City. Now I'm representing Naptown with the Naptown t-shirt.
So one of the biggest challenges for us, Fabian, has been, let's start with 2 parts here. Our community of members has been insanely supportive to us right now.
Yeah.
And we can never begin to thank the community of people around us to help us get through week 1. How do we continue to give back to those people and to the broader reach of Indianapolis and the rest of whoever can find us, has been the question we've been asking. And so in our emergency relief situation, it was like emergency situation 1, is our staff at least up to date and up to speed and being communicated with? And so we adapted the over communicate philosophy right now. Send a Slack, send a video, send an email, pick up the phone and call somebody, over communicate. Step 2 was big, are our current members at least being taken care of to the best of our ability in week 1? And I think we did that, again, with the people around us. And step 3 now is, how can we build value to the staff members that are able to keep their memberships at different levels? And if you've been a member or you don't know much about Naptown, because we offer such a wide variety of options, we have a very big financial spread in what you can pay to be a member here, from our smallest entry tier of yoga down near $50, all the way up to over $200, depending on how involved you're getting with personal training. So the give back to our members and how we can continue to give back is kind of in our phase 3 right now. So if someone's continuing to be able to support us at a higher price level, what can we do to make sure that they are feeling the love and support? And then Jared is working also on what can we do for our community? And I'll let him talk about that. Like literally people that aren't members, what kind of love and support can we do for them? Because there's so many kids at home that don't have gym class or access to fitness. There's so many people that need fitness now more than ever. To build our immune system is one of the best things we can possibly do. So what kind of advice can we give to help build your immune system? Because obviously there's no cure and there's no way to prevent this, but if we build our immune system, we can at least fight it a little bit better. So
right. And that exercise is such a big part of my routine, not just for, general physical fitness, but just mental state. It's such an important part of like my everyday, like I need to get a sweat in, and being part of that community. And hopefully we'll get into this, has been such an important part to keep when things are getting so out of control. So like I said, I'm a member at your gym. I've been logging into some of the online classes, which is, it's kind of, in this time, it's kind of cool to think about, like potentially in some weird world that will be the future, right?
Yep. Yeah, I mean, as Peter mentioned, one of our first priorities was taking care of our members, because if we don't have paying members, we don't have a business, right? And that was super, super important for us from the get-go, that we had to focus on what were we giving, what kind of value add were we giving our members. And, so right away, we allowed our members to borrow equipment from us. So we've already rented out, not even rented, borrowed out, part of their membership is the concept behind it. Over 100 pieces of equipment from our downtown location, and over 50 pieces of equipment from our Monon location. So like, that's kind of a gamble, kind of a risk, because now we hope that 150 pieces of equipment come back after this is all over. And, we have a 3-tier system of how people check these out. So that was one piece of the puzzle. Another piece was, as soon as we went into Tuesday of last week and we went virtual, there was a nightly newsletter, and it still now continually comes out every single night at 8 p.m. Paying members get a nightly newsletter with what's going on that day, when our classes, what are the links to the Zoom, as well as what the workout is. Practice Indy also has that same similar thing going on, and they also have a private Facebook page for Practice Indy. We also have a private Facebook page for our Naptown members only. We also have private Zoom links. We're recording our Zoom classes and then later posting them. So if people want to do that exact class later on in time, they can do that. And then Practice Indy is also putting a lot of content out for free on their YouTube page. And this is what Peter was alluding to, was we're also working on using this virtual platform to reach a wider audience for Naptown as a whole. Many people don't know this, but a couple months ago, we as a leadership team decided, we finally came out with our vision. And the vision of Naptown Fitness is to make Indianapolis a top 10 healthy, fit city in the country. And for those of you who are listening, we're at probably 42 or 43, I think the last time I saw. And we know we're not gonna be able to do this on our own. We know we're not gonna be able to do this in 5 years, but the idea of a vision statement is a legacy. It's what's gonna happen 20, 30, 40 years from now. So we need help from the community. We need help from different leaders in the community to get Indianapolis as a top 10 city. But what's been interesting from this whole disaster, is now we feel like we have a new platform where we can reach more people with this virtual platform. So potentially on the backside of all this, we might be able to continue and have a virtual membership. In fact, we've had people reach out to us and ask us, like, hey, can I join this cool community of your guys's and this healthy community via virtual membership? And we haven't pulled the trigger yet, but we're working on building out what that infrastructure will look like, because again, our priority right now is on our members who have supported us and for the last 9 years, and who I hope continue to support us through the next, whatever it is, 6 to 8 weeks and beyond.
And and either of you can answer this, but has the feedback that you guys have received, has the majority of it been all positive with the way that you guys have been moving, the direction you guys have taken things, the decisions that you guys have made?
Sorry,
Peter.
We have had overwhelming positive response to a lot of the things. Definitely had a few unfortunate responses. But I think in a time like this, you just have to realize you don't know what everyone's going through and how personally this is affecting them. So we've not had any responses that I guess would like send me in a tailspin of frustration.
Right.
We've had a couple that made me open my eyes. But once I take a breath and I realize that those people are probably going through things that I can't begin to understand, it's been good. And our membership has been great. We just have to continue to figure out how long can we sustain this in this state and what's going to be next, and can we stay ahead of the trends to make sure again that we're providing a top notch. So yes, positive response overall.
Right. And what have you guys learned in I mean, this short amount of time? I'm sure you guys have done stuff that, you know, you thought, okay, hey, this is going to be the thing, this is going to work, and then it didn't, and you guys have had to pivot. And I'm sure that this has happened multiple times already. But is there anything big that sticks out that you guys have learned so far?
We're always learning. I don't know that anything particular sticks out, but like how to get equipment to people, as Jared said, that was a tough one. Can we do personal training or not do personal training? Because at first it was like no more than 50 people, no more than 10 people. Just don't stand next to anybody. Situations like that have been a big steep learning curve, but I don't think we're in such a unique space personally that we've been had to learn anything that someone else didn't have to learn. I'm sure there's stuff, but Jared might be able to speak on that.
Well, I think most specifically it's just systems and processes. I mean, every time we do something, it's like, let's record this and let's then send it out to our staff, and then let's make this better. And that way we make whatever product we're giving better each and every time. And that goes for our virtual classes. So last Tuesday I volunteered. I'm, you know, wanted to lead from the front. So I volunteered to coach the very first virtual Naptown virtual class last Tuesday at 6 a.m. I had no idea how to coach a virtual class, but we jumped right into it. And then I shared whatever feedback I had with my staff, with the next coach who's coaching 9 a.m., who then we all together shared for the noon coach. And then from there, we now have a full operating procedure and SOP of how to run a virtual class. So it's been really neat to kind of see that. And our staff, like, I mean, everyone has been phenomenal, but what's been super eye-opening is how, like, the people who've stepped up way beyond, above and beyond. So it's been absolutely phenomenal to see those individuals who are like, hey, let's take this challenge.
Awesome. And what about advice? I mean, there's a lot of gym owners. Again, I think Peter, you kind of alluded to the service industry workers, people at restaurants really getting hit hard. But you know, just like anything else, you know, fitness and gyms are also going to be hit hard. So if there's any advice that you can give to other business owners that are in a similar situation as you are on how to provide value for their members.
Well, from an owner standpoint, just don't realize that we're all in this together. Other people know more than we know. And so I'm continuing to ask questions. Unemployment insurance, what's that look like? Who do I need to reach out to for unemployment benefits, things like that. Have a plan A through Z. You know, I do have a lot of backup plans at this point that should it get to that, I might need to, Jared just changed shirts again. Should it get to that, we can pivot. So I am looking at what do we have to do if it goes to worst case scenario, and what are our opportunities? Because there's tons of opportunities. I've been telling a lot of people, you know, somebody somewhere is sitting on a couch and about to blow all of our minds like 6 to 12 weeks from now with some brand new concept that none of us could ever imagine. Right? There's some industry being developed right now because of this, or some job that, some app that's going to change the world. And we don't even know it exists.
And have you guys had other gym owners in the area? I don't know what your relationship is with any other gyms, but have you had anybody, like, you guys have been established for hell since 2011, 2000. So has anybody reached out to you guys for advice?
Yeah, personally for me, on a couple of gyms on the north side have reached out just asking, like, you know, would you guys have closed if the mayor didn't make it mandatory, which he did, was I think last Tuesday at 8 a.m. And to answer that was yes. You know, at the end of the day, and I know Fabian, you and I have talked about this a lot off mic, was just like, the quicker we all come together as a country, as a community, and as people, and understand what social distancing really truly does, the quicker we get through this. And, you know, it's been a struggle because, as you had alluded to, like, when you're at a gym, you're touching a lot of things, you're around a lot of people, and like, we're the exact business that needs to be closed down, if that makes sense.
Right.
So getting ahead of that curve and understanding how to pivot and have a virtual plan or whatever that game plan is, it's almost necessary. So the couple gyms I did talk to, I advised them. I was like, be ready for this because it's going to happen because we're one of the problems, to be honest.
Right. Well, and I can imagine at that point it's just like what that, like the decision is what, do I stay open and stay afloat for the next couple weeks, right? Or a couple months, or do I shut down and like we're just kind of dead in the water? Or I guess the third option would be like, how the hell do I pivot, right? It's definitely a scary time.
And the good news is one of our mentorship groups today, a guy came on in China and he announced that they opened up today. And so he went in detail of exactly the day they closed was January 25th. So if you do the math, you're looking at 6 to 8 weeks, 7 weeks it took them to go from complete forced closure to actually being able to reopen again. And so and Peter kind of mentioned this earlier, we've been very fortunate because the groups and the networks we have, we've been able to learn from what's happened in China and Italy from a gym perspective. So we were, again, relatively prepared from a virtual platform that this was going to happen and come, and we've set ourselves up in an okay spot. And I think one thing that we didn't mention of what's helped us and what a lot of members have appreciated, and a lot of other business owners, just like, is transparency, like communicating with your audience, communicating with your clients. I think shout out to Neil and Paul Warner. Their communication, their transparency, and their leadership within the community of Indianapolis has been absolutely phenomenal. Eddie Sam is another one who's stepped up and has pivoted his business plan to create essentially a grocery store marketplace, which has been absolutely amazing to see that leadership here in our community. And it's really cool to see a lot of that happening amongst the different business owners within Indianapolis. And I know there's many other stories of people stepping up, but those two definitely come to mind.
Right. Well, I just want to say I'm super proud of the way that you guys have handled this, not just as like friends, but also as like a patron to your business. I really appreciate the communication and the things that you guys are doing to make sure that we felt like we're being looked after and cared about, and not just like, how do I keep their money, right? And I just want to say that from my perspective, it's never felt that way. So if you guys haven't heard that, I want to make that known that it doesn't feel that way.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate that a lot.
So we've been talking about a lot of, I wouldn't say negative stuff, but just like not fun stuff. So I do want to ask you guys a couple of questions before I let you go. We're closing in on 30 minutes here. So we've all been spending a lot of time at home. So is there anything that you've been binging, a show, music, movies that you want to give a shout out to that other people can enjoy at home as well?
Peter and I were joking about this the other day, but we should create a new business in 7 days. And I mean, it's been 10, 12-hour days. So the last thing I want to do is sit around for an hour and watch TV. I am fortunate that this weekend we finally had a little bit of breathing space, and I started season 5 of Peaky Blinders finally, and it has been awesome. I'm so happy right now. I'm like excited to watch the next episode tonight.
Nice.
Jared posted yesterday, actually, an amazing, it's only like 10 minutes long, right? TED Talk from Bill Gates in 2015 that basically predicted this. So there's that. I mean,
have you seen that yet, Fabian?
No, but I know that there's a conspiracy floating around that he's the one that like released.
Oh, geez. You should watch that.
Let's not go there.
Yeah,
but in all seriousness, I mean, he basically, if you watch his TED Talk, that's there. My big, I don't know, I'm on the opposite side of the spectrum. Like, stop reading social media, because you can read 5 different posts and have 5 different thoughts in your head. Like, here you go. My wife and I watched Old School the other night and loved every second.
That's awesome. That's I haven't seen that in a long time.
Get away from all this stuff and go just figure it out.
I'm putting a link to the TED Talk in this YouTube chat. Yeah, I watched Deadpool for the first time, and
yeah, it's a good one.
And I started reading Harry Potter. That's my book. Okay, so the other thing, and you guys, this will be interesting. So the other thing that a lot of people are doing is cleaning, right? You're spending a lot of time indoors. You're getting rid of shit that you don't want to see around anymore. You're like, what the hell is that? Why do I have that here? Like, let's throw it away. So is there anything that you've come across that you're like, oh my God, I haven't seen that in years? Or what the hell is this? How did it get into my house or my business?
I have not actually had
You,
it. I've done a lot of laundry.
yeah.
That's about it.
No, I don't have anything in particular. My kids and I have been looking for a Lego Woody doll that one of my kids lost, so we still haven't found it. It's been a 5-day hunt.
All right. Uh, and then last one for people that are at home that are listening to this, what is Jared? What is a good workout that they can do that people can do at home that doesn't necessarily require any equipment? You can just like wake up and do this workout. What would you guys recommend for people to stay healthy?
Nutrition, like drink water in the morning. Make sure you're drinking half your body weight in ounces of water. Take some vitamins. I'm a big fan of vitamin D and vitamin C. Get after that stuff is just really important, and we could all do it every day. There's tons of workouts you can be doing, and there's a lot of people doing a lot of free stuff right now. So the biggest thing I can say is stretch, meditation, and nutrition. And then obviously there's a whole fitness side that Jared can talk about some good workouts.
I would say go for a walk. Something my wife and I have been doing is taking a family walk with our 10-month-old daughter and our dog. We go in the morning and we go in at night just to get out of the house, just kind of move around a little bit, which has been phenomenal for us. But yeah, as Peter mentioned, I mean, there is so much content online right now. We're actually working on a platform to help curate some of that and get rid of some of the noise. This is going to be a promo here right now. I'm going to throw it out there, but we started a Facebook page today called Naptown at Home, and it's with the @ sign, so Naptown @ home. And essentially it's going to be a free platform for people to join us at 2:30 p.m. for our kids class. And there's a Zoom link on there as well that you can log into Monday through Friday, have your kids on it. We just had 31 kids on that call at 2:30 today. I showed Fabian beforehand. It is nuts to watch 31 kids on Zoom. It was wild. And then at 4 p.m. we have a public adult class. It's a bodyweight class that's free online that we're going to post on. It's on YouTube Live. That's actually on YouTube Live right now. And I'm not sure how many people are in that class currently, but that also has a Zoom link on it. So if you just go to Naptown at Home, and then it says Nutrition, Fitness, and Mindfulness on Facebook, you can add yourself to that for free and then have that available. And then the last shameless plug I'll throw out, if people want to help out, we've obviously had people cancel, people pause memberships. We're working on building out a virtual membership, which will give people access to some of the behind the scenes content we're giving as well. So we have other types of classes. We have a core class, we have a buns and guns class, we have a weighted class, body weight class. So there's a lot of things happening for our Naptown paying members. So if anyone's interested in that, we're working on developing a virtual membership. Just email info@naptownfitness.com. This is our kind of hopes to bring in another source of revenue since we've lost so many other sources of revenue during this time. This is hopefully something we can, make ends meet with in the meantime.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for spending half an hour with us and our listeners. Is there anything that maybe I didn't ask that you guys wanted to make sure that you put out there that people knew that you were offering, that you were doing, or any last words of wisdom or anything like that?
My biggest thing is just like, we all have to be patient with each other. So far people have been very graceful, but everybody is learning every day. And I don't think there's ever been a time in the world where something has changed so drastically day by day and hour by hour in some cases. So, believe that everyone's given their best effort at first, and follow back up with people and when needed, and don't make assumptions. That's just my personal advice I'm going with right now.
Yep. Retweet that.
I would say, we're at a historic moment right now. I shouldn't say never, because this might happen again in the future, but never in my lifetime in 35 years have I had a time that might be 6 to 8 weeks long. Now it's only been a week right now where I've just been able to be hyper focused on my priorities. Number one being family. Like, take time with your family. This is something that you're may never see again. So cherish this moment, spend time with them. Don't be so focused on, work and Zoom calls and all this. Don't get frustrated because you're inside the house. Like, this is something 30, 40, 50, 60 years from now, we're all going to look back on and be like, holy cow, we lived through that. And it was wild. And, I hope that you can say I lived through that. And it was one of the greatest times of my life to learn about my family and me as a person. So.
Yeah. And I think along that point, we're going to see a lot of babies born in the months between December and January.
Are you having a lot of sex or something, Fabian? What's up, man?
Hey, you got to do something to pass the time, right? Guys, thank you so much. Looking forward to see, just as a gym member and as a member of the community, what you guys are going to continue to do with fitness and how you guys will continue to adapt. Jared, the man with 12 shirts, and Peter, the guy calling from his office solo with the So thank you guys. This has been awesome. And I'll send you all the links so you can share it with your network.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Stay safe out there.
All right, guys.
Bye.
Drink culture, know your city. We're out.
Oh, did it on that side.
All right. See you, dude.
See you, man. Thanks again.
Yep.